Okay, everybody, we do actually know the schedule for the Riverbend Film Festival coming up.
Yes, we do. Now we do.
There's a lot.
There's so much, and that's the nice thing. There's something for everyone.
There really is. So
lots of good horror, actually. But let's kind of get into it. So Thursday, August 28th, is the Goshen College and Beyond Showcase, where the box office is going to open at 6:45, but the show begins at 7:30.
Okay.
And just so you guys know, this is all going to take place at the Goshen Theater.
Yes, downtown.
Yes, but luckily Thursday night is a free event.
Free event.
So you can't beat that.
Free.
And I've heard there is one horror short by a young man out of South Bend, Indiana.
Which is cool. That is pretty cool. So...
And Friday night is basically the way this works is it works in blocks. So, for example, you'll have like your first narrative short block 2. You'll have Indiana block number 1 or whatever. It's an Indiana block. But anyway, each one has something different. There's a lot of good horror that's going to be showing there. As a matter of fact, we're hoping to get an interview with Christian Donahoe, who has 2 horror shorts that day on Friday, one at 10 o'clock and then another one at 12:14.
Sweet.
So, so that'll be cool. But at the end of the night... there's a feature film that's going to be shown by Linus O'Brien, so the son of Riff Raff. The feature film is at, like I said, 9 o'clock, and it's called Strange Journey, The Story of the Rocky Horror. So it looks like it's going to be great.
Yeah.
And then immediately after that is actually going to be a screening of the Rocky Horror Picture Show. So if you are inclined to stay up...
Come dressed up.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, hell yeah.
Why wouldn't you?
That would be great.
So, yes, these are ticketed events. You can buy individual tickets, or you can buy an all-access pass if you want to do everything on Friday.
Yeah.
But it starts from, 10 o'clock in the morning to...
It's all day.
Yeah, it's an all-day thing. It's an event. It's a festival.
Yeah.
Then the next day, which is one that we're going to be a little bit more active in, is Saturday. So Saturday, basically, you're looking at from 9 a.m. to 9:15 a.m., but again, lots of good horror. As a matter of fact, Zo Zosak, who we are interviewing, has his Couple with Hobbies screening on Saturday at 10:55 during the narrative short block number 4. So y'all need to come see that.
Yes,
because it's going to be very cool to see on the big screen.
Yes.
There's also a lot of other really good horror shorts, and honestly, all of these movies are really good. Since I was able to be a programmer, my husband and I have seen at least maybe 75 to 90% of all the movies on this list.
Awesome. I have seen none. I have seen 0.
There is also...
Well, I can't say that. No, I have seen some. I take that back.
I was going to say, you've seen some.
I've seen some. Never mind. I don't know what I'm talking about.
But Running with Oz is another short during the narrative shorts block at 5 o'clock. That's going to be showing at 3:30 by Ryan Patrick Kelly, who we may have the pleasure of meeting. That'd be cool. Well. I don't know if he's local or not, but I just know that Running with Oz short that he has is actually pretty badass.
Awesome.
So, yes, definitely check it out. Pick out a block that you want to go to. At the end of the night, there are 2 big feature films. One is not horror, to my knowledge. It's called Drink and Be Merry.
Oh, yeah, it's with the Yellowstone guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of the actors from Jimmy from Yellowstone.
Oh, okay, that's cool. That one's at 5:45. And then Test Screening is the big one. It's a horror film. Looks great. It looks like a throwback to the 80s kind of horror film. That was actually written and directed by a gentleman by the name of Clark Baker, who has worked on a lot of like Eric Andre's show and Tim and Eric and stuff like that.
Oh, I fucking love Tim and Eric.
Yeah, so this guy has some comedy chops, so I wonder how this movie is going to be. But it's also directed it's also written by Steven Susko, the gentleman in charge of The Grudge, who did The Grudge, who also did the new Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Cool.
So this will be really cool to see. It basically, we don't know if Steven Susko is going to be there, but there is a big possibility we may have a little something to do with test screening either before or after. So stay tuned for that.
I'm trying to weasel my way in to fucking do some shit, so we'll see. We'll see.
So that's kind of the down low for the schedule. Luke can put up the schedule on.
Luke will put up the schedule so y'all can actually see it too, because I know, us just saying it doesn't quite do it justice. But we will also be there throughout certain times.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to be there Thursday night.
Yep.
Friday night, I don't know, are we?
I want to try it. Well, we work.
Yeah.
I don't know if you work, but...
Yeah, well, that's my half day, but still.
Yeah.
I have to be careful because I could blow a shit ton of money.
Yeah.
So maybe Friday. We will be there Thursday, maybe Friday, and then we'll be there pretty much Saturday.
Yeah. I know for sure, as for me and I think my husband, we are going to be there for the Rocky Horror documentary. But for Saturdays, like I said, we're going to have the most to do.
Yeah, Saturday is going to be an all-day thing for us.
Yeah. So hopefully we can see you there and, enjoy the episode.
Absolutely. We are so looking forward to it. If you see us there, please come up, say hi.
And say hi to Zo Zosak. He's apparently going to be there.
Should be good.
Mm-hmm. Bye.
The Midwest, home sweet home in good old Indiana. Place of small towns, cozy families gathered together, and fields of corn and rustic woods. But, like any town, there is a dark underbelly that often goes unnoted. We are part of that darkness. We lurk in the shadows to bring you the best in horror, metal, and stories of the grotesque. This is Blood in the Cornfields.
All right, welcome in, cellar dwellers. As always, I am Mark.
I'm Ivy.
And we are Blood in the Cornfields, coming back with another episode.
We are.
Excited.
And excited because we have a guest, obviously. We got another filmmaker.
Yes.
Don't ever say that we don't listen to you guys.
Yes, that's because we've done 2 and nothing else.
Yeah.
2, so.
Because you guys are...
Back in the season. We do seasons, just so you know.
Yeah, we do
Sorry.
seasons. We're in season 5 now.
But before we get too much into it, I'm going to kick it to our guest, and it's Zo Zosak, right?
That's correct.
Cool. If you want to just kind of introduce yourself, tell our listeners, watchers a little bit about you.
Hey, yeah, thanks for having me. It's an honor. I've never really been on a podcast, so this is exciting.
First timer. Hell yeah.
Yeah. So I'm really excited. Thanks for having me. You guys reach out to me, which is really nice. I have a short coming up at the Riverbend Festival. It's called A Couple with Hobbies. It's kind of like a horror comedy. Yeah. I guess, happy to be here.
Yeah.
Awesome. We are happy to have you.
And it's really cool because the thing is with the Riverbend Film Festival, yes, they have horror shorts, but just a little background. My husband and I, Luke and I, we both do Riverbend Film Festival reviewing movies, and we basically help. We don't select the films. We just review them. We look them over. Yours came up and we were like, oh my God, finally a horror movie. And it's funny. It's so good.
Nice. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah. So we were really happy about that. And sometimes with being, I guess what they call programmers, we get access to some of your information. Sometimes we don't. So I'm like, I got to find this guy because this was just such a fun short. I want to know what else he's done in the past. So here you are.
Yeah.
I believe is that called sliding into my DMs? Is that what that
is? That's very much what she did.
That's what I always
You sneaky little minx you.
That's right.
I'm going to tell Luke.
Yes.
That's fine. Tell away.
Yeah.
Oh,
he knows what I do in my spare time.
But it's kind of cool because I'm excited. I don't know, do we know what we're doing with it? Because
so we don't know all the details yet. What we've been told is that we might be doing a live interview with somebody, so that would be really cool. I don't know if it's one of our special guests or if it's going to be another film, like a local filmmaker. We haven't been disclosed yet, but that would be really cool to see who we end up interviewing live on stage.
But we're going to be, last year, you guys were involved in kind of doing some stuff, but when I attend, it's a whole different thing. It's a fucking whole different thing when I go. So I'm looking forward to it.
It's going to be fun because you bring in a different, dynamic to our group.
I bring a little white trash humor to the party. That's what I roll with.
You dress up in your like Jason outfit and then just like roam the audience staring at people.
You never know what I may wear. So like 97% of my stuff, I'll rep this shirt. Sorry, I'm going the right way. So this, I actually
stand up.
No, let me.
Yeah, because
he's not wearing any pants. Oh, okay.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, my winter's hanging out. No, so can I get it?
Yeah, it's right there. It's cool.
I don't know. Everything's backwards.
Yeah, it's good. It's gross. It's pussy, but it's like an awesome band. So this is like the type of shirts that he normally wears.
Yeah,
and this was you dress yourself, or does somebody else dress you?
So I dress. My girlfriend may or may not approve.
Okay,
of some things.
Nice.
I've settled down, believe it or not, in my shirts.
Oh,
yeah. No, in high school, I had a Cradle of Filth shirt that said "Dead Girls Don't Say No."
Oh my God, dude.
They're a black metal band. They're pretty racy, but yeah, that was my high school days. So if that gives you a little window into my character, but no, I think I've chilled out a little bit. I mean, 97 percent are horror movie shirts. This happens to be one that recently got from Band Hail Shot and Black Tornado Podcast. So I've got to give a shout out to them. So I was like, hey, I have to wear this. Yes. But I may wear a shirt that says chicken tendies.
That's fun.
Yeah. I have a Baby Billy shirt that I may rep.
That's great.
Oh, yeah, I have other stuff. I have a lot. My shirt collection it
grows, man.
Yes. I have 2 closets in 2 different rooms.
Oh.
And my girlfriend has one half of a closet.
Oh my God.
Dang.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty cool though.
I'm a cool guy. I just got to keep my cool points up.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, before we trail off, we do actually have some professional style questions to get to know you, because I just have to say, like, we reviewed 3 of the movies, and I poked around on your page a little bit more. It was like, I think your YouTube page, saw some of the other stuff, but I was like, I really have to focus on the other 3. So I've seen some of your other stuff too. So
okay, cool.
I don't think you just got away with horror movies with me, sir.
All right. Thank you.
So we'll kind of fire some off. So if you want to bust into it, Ivy.
So what do you do outside of filmmaking? Like, I guess you can say what your job is. It's up to you how much you want to give away. And then also, like, what are some of your hobbies? Help us get to know who you are, who Zo is.
All right. Yeah. So my family of immigrants, they came over from what was Yugoslavia. Now it's split up into like 8 different countries, but we're Croatian. When they got to Chicago, they just did like real estate management, right? So real estate management is sort of in my blood. So like my dad's like a super for a couple buildings in the north side of Chicago. So when I was little, like as soon as I could kind of swing a hammer, I was messing around doing that kind of stuff. So what sort of has always paid the bills is like real estate management. And that's, something as simple as like fixing an air conditioner in a window unit at a tenant, or like right now, sort of the owner of a couple of these properties that we manage has acquired a 3-story property that like needs to be completely gutted. Ooh. So we like gut it down to just the bricks and are redoing everything like electric, gas, water, power, a lot of framing, like that sort of stuff. So that's sort of always been in my blood. And then I encourage people in the arts to have some other way to make income.
Yeah.
Because it's tough out there. So I will say that, I mean, that's sort of like a later in the, I don't know, but it's like filmmaking is a passion and like a way, I guess, like a lifestyle. So it's like, but it's really hard to make consistent money at it.
Yeah.
So I definitely encourage people to have like another way to make money. And also I feel like it's good for your brain to have something that's not related to like filmmaking, Mm-hmm. So anyway, so I do that. Let's see, some hobbies. I love to cook because my baka, or my Croatian grandmother, a lot of Eastern European cooking resides around like a single pot meal, so like everyone kind of pitches in and like throws stuff in. And that's then, cool. So I kind of grew up like doing handy stuff like that. And then, I love to cook. Almost went to culinary school, but then I kind of realized that like I need to like get around and move, you know? So like, I just like can't stay in a kitchen that's like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, like just to be confined in like a really hot kitchen and that sort of thing. I think I'd go crazy. So now I just sort of cook for fun and then cook, like as a passion. And I guess that's a way that I express love to people is that, you know, like my sister just had a baby and stuff. So I go over to her and my brother-in-law's place and I'll be like, hey, like, you know, I'm trying this new recipe. Can I cook for everybody? So that's like, I feel like, you know, that's a fun thing to do as I get older. It's like family's very important to me and, you know, like cooking for my loved ones, you know? So yeah.
That's cool. And I bet she really appreciates that because like, I remember when I first had my baby and I was like, yes, everybody cook for me. That's fine.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, so I guess I like to travel, but like, that's kind of a basic, like who doesn't love to travel? You know
that's
what I mean?
all right. Like where have you traveled?
Yeah. Where are some places you've been?
I guess it's pretty lucky because I have family in Europe. So it's easy that I can like stay, you know, in parts of Croatia and stuff like that. And then they've sort of spread out, you know, because there was like a war in the early 90s that was really bad in Yugoslavia. So like people kind of spread out. So that's kind of fun. It's like that I can sort of travel on the cheap and then I'll travel on the off, like in November when everyone's traveling sort of in the United States for like Thanksgiving stuff. Flights to round trip to Europe are like very, very cheap in November. And then early in the year too, like January. Yes. Like January, February as well.
That's right.
I'll keep that
like nobody. Yeah. So check it out.
Awesome. Okay. And my husband, he travels. I've never been able to travel because I'm a funeral director. So I'm confined to to where I'm at because death just does not care.
Yeah.
Obviously, R.I.P. Ozzy, R.I.P. Hulk Hogan.
Hulkamania. Yeah.
Yes.
R.I.P. Theo, the Cosby Show, because all these celebrities are just deciding to just keel over.
I know.
But that also goes the same for us normal people.
That's normal. Right. Yeah.
And it really sucks for everybody else. But, you know, this is where I'm at. That's my passion. So that's why I never get much of an actual holiday, you know, because I'm always here. And that's okay. That's just where we're at.
Yeah.
You chose it. Keep that in mind.
You chose it, woman.
I will, and I love it. I love my job.
So how did you initially get into filmmaking?
So growing up, I was pretty chunky, I guess fat. I you know, like, I don't know if it's a bad thing to say, but like I was just a big giant. I'm like 6'2", but like I was just like, I was hefty, you know, like I think my Baka, my Croatian grandmother was just like force feeding everybody. She was like the best cook in the family. So like that, like down home Croatian cooking, I just got like huge, you know? And so like I sort of, even though I hit a growth spurt later. So I just was kind of like very chubby kid growing up until like probably like middle of high school. That's when I like grew something crazy, like 8-9 inches or something. Right. So people would always pick on me. Right. So I don't want to say they got bullied, but it's just like, fat ass and things like that were like an easy way for people to pick on me. So I guess I peaked later in life with like growing, you know, all that stuff and whatever. But so I would use sort of like humor as a way to deflect from like the bullying and stuff like that. So then I started, I just like loved consuming sort of like, you know, horror, action and comedy. So then my dad had like one of those crazy like big VHS, you know, like
the mic in the front,
like Panasonic dad things and dad VHS whatever video camera, is that what they're called? Camcorder. Yeah. So you know, we got one of those and like they did a couple family vacations and then I basically like took it over and just started making silly things where like I'd scare my sister or my cousins. So like I would do funny stuff where I would like narrate being like, okay, I'm creeping around the corner and I'm looking for someone, you know, like things like that. And then I would like scare them and then like, you know, do like the slow zoom in and just be really annoying, like an annoying little brother. So I don't know. So little things like that. And just from an early age started kind of like making silly things because I feel like it was a way for me to like hide, I guess, if we're psychoanalyzing, because I'm like, nobody can make fun of me because I'm, you know, like I'm behind
the camera.
Yeah. So I guess that's, And it just was funny. Like I love to just like scare the shit out of people and make them laugh. Like that's so fun, you know?
That's cool. Yeah, and it shows in a lot of your films too. Like, we'll go into them in a little bit more detail later, but like you can definitely tell in your films that you do like that aspect of kind of shock, but also at the same time, especially with the one that's going to be shown at the Riverbend. I'm not going to give much away. Has kind of that same element, but it's a good combination of everything.
Thank you. Yeah. I had a friend tell me that it has rewatchability because there's some sort of thing that happens where they're like, oh man, like you need to watch it again to kind of pick up on things. And I'm like, good. That was kind of part of the point, you know?
Oh, 100%. We had to watch this at least, I think I've seen about maybe 3-4 times, but yeah.
I've seen it twice. Yeah.
Nice.
Because it's a good one.
Thank you.
Nobody will be disappointed by it. No. It'll be a lot of fun. But I get what you're saying, like, you know, your inspiration for filming. Literally what you just said is exactly what my husband used to do.
Oh.
We have some of his old VHSs that we will come across, and it's
That's
him
cool.
doing that, but at the camera with like little Power Ranger action figures.
I did that too. Yeah. I had wrestling action figures. Yeah. That was good.
Yeah. So that's cool. I like that, you know, the particular era that we all kind of collectively grew up in, where we could be creative, we could do things, even though the technology is evolving, you know?
Yeah. It was the beginning of that.
Yeah. So then, who is your favorite director? Who like really inspires you?
I wrote down. Well, I thought of 3 that are just sort of like
perfect,
and it's funny because like none of them are horror really, but
which is fine.
Right?
But I think one of my tops is I love Edgar Wright.
Ooh, okay.
Just because he does such a good, like the Brits have I love dark comedy, and everything's played very real, and then like just his like visual storytelling and just his storytelling in general is very great. And I think some of the early stuff with him and Simon Pegg, you know, like the horror, Horror Shop Coronado, they call it, which is like those 3 movies. They're beside me now, but let's see.
Shaun of the Dead, right?
Yes. Shaun of the Dead. You know, like, Hot Fuzz, Shaun of the Dead.
That's right. Yeah. Hot Fuzz.
Yeah.
So like Shaun of the Dead is just fantastic because it's like there's zombies chasing after them and they're like throwing records at them. And then they're like, wait, not that, you know, it's like, it's so good. So I feel like I don't know, not that I try to like copy or emulate him, but I just really like how he can sort of have really good filmmaking technique, but then like, you know, do horror and comedy and you really care about the characters as well. I try also to, really make it a point to flesh out and, you know, I want the audience to care about my characters, you know? So I feel like that's sort of top of mind, Edgar Wright, because he can do like a comedy and horror infusion. Yeah, that's all I want to mention right now. Yeah, I think that's all. Yeah.
Well, we talk about often how like there are a lot of comedy horror movies, but in my opinion, it's a very thin line to walk before you get too far on the one side and then it becomes kind of tacky or it becomes a little bit too much. It's not very balanced. So I totally get that. So tell us a little about of each one of the films that you've worked on and where the ideas have come from.
Oh, Lord. I'm not trying to like plug my own website, but I have a lot. I have a lot on there. It's a joke name, but it's called Filming Business Company. Filming Business Company, because when I moved back to Chicago during the pandemic from LA, my dad was working on this empty storefront that he was remodeling in one of the buildings. And you know, with his thick accent, he's like, you and your dudes, you can film your film business, your business of the filming business with the company. And I'm just like, what?
That's awesome.
So my website, I try to make it like I'm like you guys, do you remember Canon Films back in the there's a documentary about Canon Films.
Yeah.
They've made so many like B action movies. And I tried to like basically pretend like my website is basically like, you know, like, is this guy serious? Is he like some weird European? But but yeah, so it's hard because since I've come back to Chicago, basically like in 2022, I've done a lot. Like I had a friend challenge me to like a once a month film competition.
That. Yeah,
that's so smart.
So wait, I'm rambling. What is the oh yeah, so
okay.
So I feel like for me, a location, a person, or something that I've seen like in a movie or like a film, or like a genre that I want to try and or steal, or something that I've never done before, that really helps me. So like, for example, in the Midwest, we get like 3-4 months of nice weather and then it's like volatile. Yeah. So like locations become very important because, it's like you can't just shoot stuff in an apartment, right? It sort of gets kind of old. So then it's like I'll have a location that I have access to, right? And then I'll be like, oh man, like this is a giant warehouse. Like what could I do here, right? So for me, I feel like having some sort of constraint really helps force the creation process. Because it's like, there was a friend of mine too. She worked at a restaurant and she was like, hey, I talked to, the owner of the restaurant. She was like a former drama person. She knows I'm an actor. And she said like, hey, if you ever want to film something here, you can film like on Mondays from like 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. because then like 2:33, that's when the staff comes in because they're open from like 5 to like, whatever, midnight, but the staff gets there at 3. So I'm like, wait, what? There's a beautiful restaurant that I can film at for free on this time. So like, one of my, that was a part of the monthly one. It's called, what the heck is it? It's right here on my website. Oh God. Follow them about following your dreams. Right. So then, and then, or like, I'll run into a person, I'll see a show. There's a lot of storefront theaters and stuff here in Chicago. I'll see a show and I'll be like, wow, that person's amazing. And then, or somebody will recommend a show and things like that. That helps, or yeah, it's like me and usually it's good to find a DP that's down to work, I'll sit down with the DP and I'll be like, hey, like, what's a genre that you'd like to try? Or we just kind of have a conversation of like, hey, I've never done one of these things before. Like, hey, I've never done this, So yeah, it's like completely random, but I think that's exciting. Like for me, I think it's very rare and probably impossible for me just to like write something without like either an actor friend of mine in mind or like a genre or something. I'm working on this like vampire thing where like I've been working on it for like 3-4 years, right? And I'm just
working on a vampire thing
for about the same amount of time, actually.
And like for whatever reason, I can't crack it because I don't have like. Well, it's like really ambitious. I'm like setting people on fire, or like doing wire stunts. Awesome. Yeah, like so, like it's insane. But it's been like a daunting task because I like don't have locations. I have maybe like one actor in mind. From sort of the community here in Chicago. So like, that's been very tough. And as an example of like, I can't crack this thing and I'm like, I don't feel motivated. So yeah, to me, I guess for all of these, like, for example, A Couple with Hobbies at the Riverbend Film Festival. That one basically, I had, the woods that I went to was in Antioch, Illinois, so kind of by the border of Wisconsin. And my cousin's best friend has like a little house there, a little cabin, and we were just hanging out there. It was actually my cousin's bachelor party. So I was like, whoa, I was like, what are these woods next door? And he's like, yeah, they're just like woods. They're my woods. They're on my property line. And I'm like, wait, what? And then I just like went there with my little like phone and was just kind of like creeping around. And like that ended up being the spot where we filmed. We filmed That's like so cool. all around his property in Antioch, Illinois, and then in Chicago as well. But I sort of got the idea. I'm not going to spoil stuff, but like for that film, I was like, what if this happened? Like, and of course, like we were a little like, bachelor party, whatever, like,
Yeah.
So,
that's where the best inspiration comes from.
You're relaxed. You're like hanging out and you're like, well, what if this thing happened? Like, as we like looked up at the stars, you know what I mean? So, And then sometimes it just kind of like pours off of the page. But I really also like to get notes and things like that and collaborate. So it's like, I'm good at, people like to work with me because they say I get shit done. So like, I'll just like, shit out, a scene or shit out like get
what you mean?
Yeah. I'll produce a draft, if you will. And then I'm like, I need to get notes. And then it's like, because I feel like the writing process is like 90% rewriting, and I like to get multiple perspectives, right? I like to get like the actors, like DP friend, like some directors and things like that. Cause everyone sort of has like their own take on things. And then it's kind of like if it really helps me sort of streamline and get to the point, because it's really hard to break a story. And I feel like you get in your own head a lot. And then it's like, it's just like such a daunting task, because you're like, oh, I spent all this time like writing this whole thing. And you send it to somebody and then they're like, yeah, the only thing I liked about that was this. And you're like, oh God, I need to change everything. But it's like, you got to do it. That's the hard thing. It's like, are you going to keep going and rewriting? Yeah, or like I saw a movie and I'm like, yeah, I just want to do a movie like that and copy it. There's a film that will come out after my post-apocalyptic one.
Okay.
It's called Always Working, and it's basically like a spoof on Mr. and Mrs. Smith, because I also know a lot of stunt folks here in Chicago. Cool. Because like stunt folks do like the horror, the blood, explosions, fire, and that sort of thing. So like horror and stunts is like a very sort of tight knit community, because there's just so much overlap, right? Mm-hmm. So then like a lot of stunt people have sort of been reaching out to me too in Chicago, because they're like, I need some like footage for my reel, and that's not just like two people fighting in like a dojo or something, or like a karate place. You know what I mean? So I'm like, yeah, cool. So like, what do you want to do? And then they tell me this idea, and then like I write it. You know what I mean? So that's kind of like how it's called The Bridge. That's the post-apocalyptic thing that's coming out in like a couple weeks. Yeah. It basically was like a bunch of stunt people. And we're just like, we're not going to explain anything, but it's basically like this woman who's kind of just like walking in like a nuclear wasteland, and these sort of like cannibal zombies come and like, try to like come after her. And we don't really explain what's going on in the world, but we're like, doesn't matter. This was just kind of like it was just kind of an attempt of us to flex our muscle, and like, everyone worked for free because they loved it, just to like get the reps in, because I believe that's very important. So that one literally just came about of like stunt people wanting, this one woman, she was like, hey, I really want to get more work as like a gore VFX. So she did like a whole like intestine thing that she made like on the fly. Cool. And I was like, and she's like, is this too bloody? And I'm like, no, Megan,
there's no such thing. There's no such thing.
Yeah. So like, that was a fun thing. If people are just like, hey, like you get stuff done. Like I like, if I do this thing, like it's going to get done. So that's been pretty cool too, of like people just kind of wanting to like collaborate and work on stuff. And because they're like, hey, I know it'll get done. And like, it's a fun time to just experiment and try, so.
Yeah, that's really cool. That's kind of what Tim Wallach said. He's another film director that we interviewed. Cool. And he said like, the more people that you get locally or like in your friend groups to help out, they want to help. They want to see this thing come together. So if you tell people, hey, we're filming a movie, 9 times out of 10, you're always going to have somebody that's going to just be like, yeah, I want to help. I want to do this. I want to do that. Maybe if I can just have this small part,
Right.
So, about the movie, The Watcher. So I'm going to kind of not go into spoilers or anything like that, but that movie's intense.
There's a part that I really like.
Yeah. That one's really good. And I think when you mentioned, you focus on one area, one person, this point in time, that's the best movie for that.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I for me, I liked it because, like the action, we'll call it, because I want to try and like not give too much away.
Yeah.
The action was good. Like, with some other films, it could be a little, lackadaisical, not very good, shot from like not the right angle per se. But yeah, I thought it was good because that plays obviously a big part of the short. But I also like how you blended kind of just the suspenseful, creepy, like, did I see that or is something coming type, suspense that I thought was pretty cool. And I'm always a fan of like a bigger guy that's a creeper. Because I mean, if I'm ever going to be in a movie, it's probably going to be I want to be like a big burly creeper.
Nice.
Or I would be a really good hillbilly zombie. So either one of those, like if you need me to eat some small child, like I'm totally fine with that. But yeah, trust me.
Okay, all right. Ideas are forming.
Yeah, I'm going to be in something at some point. Yes, I like slut myself out to everyone else, everyone that's a director that we have on. So
that's funny.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think as far as remembering lines, maybe not my strong suit. But being a burly creeper, being a burly creeper,
you can do that, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, hey, I can do that. But to kind of get back to it, like the action scene was believable. It wasn't too slow. It wasn't too, like pull away and not get the full effect. I guess I would say like flinching. Like you can kind of see in some, some other stuff, like some other smaller films and different things like that. And I like the change of angles during it. So it wasn't like.
Thank you.
I've noticed that during some of those action scenes that they're harder to shoot and they're harder to kind of see what's going on. So usually you may just get like 3/4 of that scene is in a pan back, like a pullback. But I like how there were multiple angles that you switch from during the action sequence.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
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 That one, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
You go ahead.
Please.
No, thanks. Yeah. The Watcher was fun because that was sort of inspiration from me and my buddy during the pandemic. I was in LA and then my lease was up in May of 2020. So I'm like, I'm not going to re-sign my lease because like California was shut down first for the pandemic. And I'm like, okay, cool. So kind of drove to Chicago, chilled here for a bit, and then went to New York because I ended up working on my friend's third season of his TV show during the pandemic. But we literally was around Halloween time and like we both love horror and we just literally like because you couldn't do anything. It was lockdown. So like we literally just rewatched, like all Friday the 13th, Halloween. Nice. Like we watched like all the major sort of like franchise, but then even like weird ones as well. And then like new ones. So it was just that was like sort of floating around in my brain. And I really like the idea of, again, this is like me just literally like trying to shoot a movie, like the first Halloween movie, right? The Watcher. Cause I just was like, okay. And I love the unstoppable force aspect in a short because shorts are so hard to like, who are these people? We have like 2 seconds, you know what I mean? And like, there's nothing, I hate to say this, but, I think for me and what I've been told from people that programs festivals, I don't know, this is just me hearing stuff. I don't have the answers, but they're like, hey, try to keep it under 10 minutes because it's easier to program 6-10-minute shorts than it is like 15, 18, 20-minute shorts.
That's true. Yeah.
So I've always kind of been told that from some of my friends that are in like festivals and stuff like that. So for that particular one, I was like, I just want to like literally collaborate. Everyone there again were like actors and then stunt people. And we were just like, hey, like, we just kind of want to shoot this thing, and I want to shoot it in the style of like a Halloween type movie, like horror movie. Right. So, so that was another one too, where the female lead, Lauren was her name. She's just like, hey, like I have a house, like she had a kid and she's like, we can film anytime, like basically like after bedtime, which is like 8 p.m. You know what I mean? So we're like, oh, really? And she's like, yeah, I have a garage. And I just like went to her place and I just like looked around and I'm like, there's just like these long angles. And I'm just like, man, this is awesome. You know what I mean? So then it just sort of, that was another one where it just kind of organically came together. And we just I really try to legitimately like do the best I can with like the horror. And then also like for that one, particularly like the action, you know what I mean? Cause those folks also are like very seasoned, like fight choreography type people. And they're also very good actors. Sometimes it's tricky to find somebody that can do action and also act. It's like a weird mind meld. There's some people who like know how to real fight really well, but then selling a punch or a hit or like getting stabbed on camera is like a completely different thing when like there's a camera and an angle. So those folks were very good at acting and the horror. So I was happy with that, and that was fun. Yeah,
nice.
Yeah, I could. Since you say that, because I've often thought like I don't know if I could take a like a punch fake, so I may just have to be like, hey, you're gonna have to partially connect, bro.
No, you gotta be safe. Because are they gonna partially connect with you 25 times?
Oh, true.
That's the thing.
I've taken some blows in my day. So.
No, but we don't want that. I want everybody to be safe on my set.
She's seen me take falls.
Oh my God, he did like 3 falls for a project we worked on, and
that's so funny.
I wish we could have caught it on camera because it was supposed to be like a radio play.
It was just audio.
So it was all audio. But he did it. He did 3 falls for us, and they both picked, like, the falls picked up really well.
And the one I fell so hard, the bike, I was holding a handheld.
Yeah.
Like, because I was running, and it wasn't on camera, but I had to really do it because I wanted the effects for it.
Yeah.
So I ran and basically tripped myself. I didn't even fake it. I took my leg, hit it behind my other one, tripped and tucked and rolled, like landed on my shoulder and rolled over, and the handheld flew out. Yeah. So you can hear the handheld like fly out. Oh yeah. Yeah. I don't do shit like halfway. No.
It made it even more believable though.
Yeah.
I was all dirty and shit.
That's great. You're committed.
Yes. Very, very much so. Yeah. I don't do things lightly. I have caveman syndrome. So my family calls me Wreck-It Ralph. So I don't do things lightly for sure.
Now the other film is it Liberty or Liberté?
Oh, Liberate.
Liberate.
Or was it Liberate?
French. Yeah, it's French. Yes.
Okay.
Liberté, I don't know how to pronounce it. I'm so sorry. I'm a dumb American. Sorry.
But that one was very unique.
Yes.
I didn't know where it was going. That was my thing. I didn't know where it was going. Yeah, I'll totally admit that.
The opening of it was just like one thing, and then it went somewhere else. It went to like barbarian territory, and I'm like, what the hell's going on?
And I liked within the first, I want to say 10 seconds, the holding the camera on the orange object to kind of give a little
Good job.
I like that. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
Because it was quick. She comes in, goes to the desk, working on, what was it, a monitor or something, and there's the pan on that, and I was like, because of course when you watch it the first time, you don't catch it, but then I was like, when I watched it the second time, I was like, ooh, the significance of that.
Yes.
I was like,
okay, nice.
I like how you held it for like maybe a second and a half.
Yeah.
2 full seconds.
You're like, why are you doing that? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That literally, that one was literally like, I saw Barbarian, and then like a couple months later, I'm like, I want to do a short like that because like, why not? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's literally like, I'm not like encouraging people to steal, but like, I guess, I mean, like, I also really love that movie. So I'm like, I'm not making any money off of my like shitty YouTube shorts. You know what I mean? So like, for me, it's just a way to like experiment in that drama. And again, that was one I had access to a empty storefront location.
Nice.
And I like knew the like super of the building, Croatian mafia basically, and was like, hey, can I film? And they're like, yeah, just like clean up when you're done. So I'm like, great. So there was like but that's the hard part. It's empty. And then there's like that basement. So we had, so like we basically like set dressed it with like a whole bunch. Oh, I think because they were storing an entire new set of kitchen cabinets and appliances for like an apartment unit that was like above this empty storefront. So they were just using, like the contractor was using it, and he's like, hey, you just can't move any of that stuff. So then we're like, okay, cool. We have a free location. We can do whatever we want with it. So that's also nice because we sort of own the location. He gave me the keys, and I basically we could set dress like days before. And then again, had another friend. She was like, hey, I want to get into like production design. And I'm like, okay, cool. I can't pay you anything, but like I have a space. I'll pay you. I was like, hey, I can pay you for like any materials that you use, obviously like lunch, like expenses, like that sort of stuff. Right. Mm-hmm. But I'm very upfront about that. I'm like, hey, like this is like literally collaborative, independent filmmaking. And she's like, hey, like I just really want to, try to flex my skills as a production designer. I'm like, awesome, love to have you. So then she literally was like, hey, like, can I, the first 2-3 days before the shoot day or before the first day, could I just like set dress? And I'm like, absolutely. And then she did a wonderful job. And then, it was just literally like the inspiration was that I saw Barbarian and I loved it. And then, I tried to sort of figure out a story. Oh, and then the female who was, I don't know if I want to spoil it.
Yeah.
The woman who speaks French in it, she was just basically, her name's Chloe. She's awesome. I've done a bunch of stuff with her. And she's like, hey, like, I don't know if she told me like a long time ago, she's like, I can speak French. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. So then I remembered, because I wanted to do something with Chloe again and Angela. Those are the two female leads. They're great. And I was like, oh yeah, Chloe, you can speak French, right? And she's like, yeah. So then I was like, okay. And then it's like, why would somebody have people, all I'll say is have people in the basement, you know? Yeah. So, you know, I guess it's like an exploiting of, you know, immigrants and that whole thing. Like that was just sort of close to home as well, you know? So that's kind of how that one sort of came together. Right.
That's cool.
Yeah. It's like, use what you got, you know?
Yeah.
Absolutely. And that was, to quote Tim Wallach again, he said, use what you're able to work with, like what you have available to you. It's fun to try to like make something big, but it's like, do you have the materials to do that? Do you have the means to make that happen?
Yeah.
You know,
it's some carnage in the basement is just some good old fun.
Yeah.
I mean,
I know. Yeah.
We're some cellar dwellers, so we totally understand.
I live in a garden apartment right now.
Awesome.
Yeah. Basement garden.
All right. So what does the filming process look like?
And what is your favorite part of filming?
Okay. Yes. I would say, what does the filmmaking process look like? It's hell. No. Yeah. Do you have, so I noticed that you said like you got challenged to one short a month. So does that mean that you're running on like very fine deadlines?
Yeah, actually.
For that particular, we finished that, but for that particular thing, yes. So it was basically like, part of it was figuring out our process, right? So it was basically like, okay, well, like you need to write, cast, rehearse, shoot, and then post-production edit all within 30 days.
Oh my God.
So like, I would say that, towards sort of like the back end of that, we both started just getting busy. So then it would be like 2 months, you know, but it still was like, we were cranking out. We ended up doing 10 of them, over like a year and a half. And, you know, there's like the Liberate or I should know how to pronounce my own short film. That one came out of the film challenge. Yeah, I'm definitely very proud of a lot of them. Like that one, the following one that I told you takes place at a restaurant. And then there's also one with these two cousins that like fight in the woods. That's a fun one. And then, yeah, and that was cool too, because we could sort of collaborate and do different genres, which was fun. So again, so for that particular instance, it was like, we got to come up with something, you know what I mean? So what we do is my buddy, who was the DP, Isaac, we would basically like have a standing meeting at the local, you know, watering hole. And then we'd basically be like, okay, come with any idea. There's no wrong answer. And let's just sort of like, we didn't leave until we thought like, we were like, okay, this is what we're doing. So we would kind of just like open a Google Doc. We'd each come with a couple ideas. And then it's kind of like, for me, it's like, it has to be a fuck yeah. Because it's kind of like, if I'm going to consume myself with this, and then like, heaven forbid it gets into a festival, I have to really like this idea from the beginning all the way until like years later. You know what I mean? So it has to be a fuck yeah for me, because otherwise it's like, I don't want to do, I'm either all in or not, you know? So, so the filmmaking process, what does that look like? I guess it's like, it's hard. It's like, there's no right or wrong way to do anything, you know? So it's like, I'm a big proponent on, you just got to do it, you know, because I've learned the most by just like falling flat on my face. But like, I don't have all the answers. I love to collaborate with people. And yeah, it's just kind of like, I learn by doing. It's like, I feel like if I don't keep filming things, I'll be rusty, or like it feeds my soul, you know? So, so I love the collaboration aspect of, like I said, you know, thinking about ideas with people. It's like, once the idea happens, I usually prefer just to go and write it. I don't particularly think I'm a good writer. I think I write out of necessity because I know that it'll get done. Mm-hmm. And I feel like I'm sort of like half creative, half like business, just get it done guy. Mm-hmm. So I'm usually just like, hey, like it's not going to get done unless I just write the thing. And then I'm like, hey, like hand it off, like notes, whatever, blah, 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 do a pass at it. But essentially I get like the final draft, if you will.
Yeah.
Because it's like, the project wouldn't have happened without like my momentum. Cause I feel like, what motivates someone who's unmotivated to write is if I give them like a literally caca-poo-poo script that I shat out of my asshole that was like, hey man, here's a first draft. Like I'm literally just like throwing spaghetti on the wall to try to get the ball moving. Yeah. And then they're like, no. Like this is not what we talked about. And I'm like, yeah, I know. Like go.
That's why I'm telling you, fix it.
Make adjustments. Yeah.
Well, yeah. But then that like, and then that really like sort of motivates co-collaborators. And then I'm like, good. Like at least like, cause it's like, you gotta keep volleying. You know what I mean? But then it becomes a beautiful thing of like, then it's like, you know, you fall in love with it. You hate it. You fall in love with it. You hate it. You know, like, I feel like that's like every creative project. And then I love the on set. I just love being on set. Yeah. I mean, there's just nothing like being on set. That's the most fun part. And then I oddly love to edit. And I don't know, I probably, cause I'm maybe like a little bit of a control freak. I don't know. But again, it's like, it doesn't get done until you like show the first edit. And I think it's very hard in the sort of beginning filmmaking process. I've had people reach out to me and be like, how do you get films done? And I'm like, what do you mean? Just do it. And they're like, you keep putting out films. I'm like, yeah, because beginning, middle, and end. And they're like, yeah, but like, what do you mean? And then I'm just, so it's interesting. It's like, you know, and I like to edit. It's very difficult, but again, for me, I really think that horror and comedy like share similar timing aspects. Like there's like you know, like it's weird. So for me, like editing just clicks. So anyway, I love to edit. So it's like, yeah, again, that's just another way of like, I start the project by writing, kick it off, and then edit, you know, get notes, you know what I mean? So it's like, those are sort of things I can control whether or not they get done or not, you know? And then I learned from that too. Like there's no better way to learn every aspect of filmmaking, you know, by editing. Cause it's like, is the camera out of focus? Is the lighting look bad? Well, then you're like, why does it look like that? Okay. The DP didn't do something. Does it sound bad? The sound, you know what I mean? So it's just like, yeah. So just keep going. Just keep making stuff. You know what I mean?
Just keep pumping it out.
You gotta finish. You have to finish. That's the other thing too. There's so many actors that have written a script. They're like, I'm working on this script. There's so many like, you know, blah, 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 people working on things, but then it takes a lot to then go into production and film it. But then it's also like, okay, well, I filmed this thing and now like, well, I got hired this editor and blah, 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 and this and that, you know, like every process is so tough, but like, I'm just like, go do it. Just like, you just gotta, but then you have to like, again, beginning, middle, and end. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah, see it.
That's a lot of work. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I mean, like I have a shit ton of scripts.
Yep.
Lots of them. But it's a matter of like, okay, awesome. You got an idea on paper. That's your start. But now I don't know, go do the thing. Like just do it. Just find your actors, do it, make some time. But what I hate doing the most is I hate storyboarding. That I want someone else to do that shit. That I hate. But it's hard for like somebody to get an idea of what I'm talking about because I'm really bad at explaining things.
Yeah.
So like what I see in my mind may not be what they see, you know?
One thing that helps me, again, because it is very hard to storyboard. I've like sort of looked into, I hate to say like AI, but I've looked into some like AI things just because I'm like trying to like sort of be aware of that, you know? So like I've tried to look into like AI storyboarding things, but still like, I know people think that like, I know people think that like tomorrow AI is taking over, and I'm like, have you guys used GPT and some of these things? Like it's sometimes I'm like, ChatGPT, you're drunk, you know, like I feel like it's a long way away from like Terminator 2 takeover. But anyway, what really helps me is like previs. So like I'll like, especially with the fight, like anything action and a lot of the horror, we will like, I'll also tell my actors like, hey, listen, like I'm sort of like I storyboard with like rehearsals. So like The Watcher, for example, any of these films, I'm like, I get everybody in the location and I'm like, this is what we're kind of expecting. And like, I'm going to film with like a shitty camera or sometimes an iPhone. And then I edit it together and then I send it to the people before the filming of the shooting. And then people are like, oh my God, I can't believe I look like, like there's those things. I'm like, okay, well then be aware of that. But I'm like, because it is so hard to tell people what you're thinking in your head. And for example, The Watcher, there's an sort of a scene that goes from the garage to the thing, to the thing, to the thing. And it's like all one shot.
That's awesome.
And that shot literally was just from the previs where I'm just like messing around doing this thing. And in the previs, I was like, oh, that's a very cool, like oneer. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But how I planned it out for shot listing was like a million different shots, but we're battling weather and things like that. It was raining, so we couldn't film. So we're like hiding in the garage to like film other things because you're just like filming around the weather. So you have to be loose and flexible. And then we just literally ran out of time and we're like, how are we going to do this whole thing? And I was like, remember the previs? And I like, again, I also then have it on set and I'm like, remember this? Here, watch this. We're going to do this. So then it's like another way of like, kind of, that's how I guess I storyboard sort of, or go on the day of and like take essentially stills. There's an app, I think it's called Artemis, I guess is like, have you heard of that app?
No.
There's like a paid version or whatever, but it's basically like, it's an app where you can pick what type of camera and what type of lens. So then like, you just like, literally, if I'm like, okay, 2-shot and I'm like, okay, you two stand over there, like medium close up. I'll put it with the style of camera and then the lens and it'll look exactly like, and then you can sort of input that still as like a storyboard. Yeah.
Okay. That's kind of cool.
Other ways to try to storyboard in an efficient manner,
I appreciate that. That actually got my gears turning again. Yeah. So I appreciate that. That's awesome.
And again, there's no, like, you don't have to storyboard, right? It's like whatever kind of works for you,
Mm-hmm. So. Yeah. Cool. Well, that's awesome. Well, see, and it's not just me, it's everybody else who might be watching that are also aspiring filmmakers. These are good notes for them to take.
Just go and do it. Just go and do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just have to go do it. With each of the different cities you've lived in, how does the film process in each city differ?
Yeah. So I lived, grew up in Chicago and then was just making silly, like shorts and stuff and comedy stuff and some horror stuff with my friends, but then moved to LA and lived there for about like 8-9 years. And LA is a strange place. Have you guys been there?
No, not yet.
I've been to Anaheim, closest I've been.
It's just weird because a lot of people come out there and it's kind of like la woo-woo land. And I had a great time and made a lot of good friends. I feel like it's just hard to navigate the fake flakiness out there. And I will say that like it's really hard to get people to work on your independent films because there's a lot more work out there. In terms of like, if you're a camera operator, you can literally work like all day, every day, because there's always like Sharknado 17 that's being filmed. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? So people are like, I can make like a really good day rate being like A cam, B cam, whatever on Sharknado 17. I'm making money. I'm filming stuff. It's sucking out my soul, but it's allowing me to sort of stay in this loop of like, oh man, I want to do my own creative thing. Oh man, like, oh God. But like when I'm not filming Sharknado 17, I'm so tired because I just worked like 17 days in a row, like 16 hours. Oh man. Oh, Sharknado 18 came around. Oh, okay. Oh, well, I'm working. Oh, but I want to do my own thing, So it's like, it's just so hard to get people to work on stuff because there's people like that where like the crew positions, like you can always find a set to work on, you know what I mean? But then also like then some of the actors and things like that, like I hate to say the stereotype that like actors are lazy, but not all of them, but some of them, if you're like, hey man, I wrote this perfect, or, hey hey person, I wrote this perfect thing for you. And they're like, okay, cool. Yeah. I don't want to do that. And you're like, oh, really? Why not? Yeah. I don't know. That sounds like a lot of work. And you're like, wait, what?
What do you mean it sounds like a lot of work?
Right. So it's very tough for folks to get motivated because they're like, well, it's not like a network thing. And like, oh, I had this cool audition and I'm like, cool. So then there's this like type of, and I'm not just saying actors, I'm saying like everybody. They're like, I don't want to write this thing unless like it means something, or like nobody just wants to sort of like put in the hard work to get better, because they're all like waiting around for that shot. And then I'm like, well, if you just wait around for that shot, then like 10 years go by and you like have like nothing to show for your. Yeah. So that's a whole weird microcosm of LA. Spent some time in New York. New York is cool because I think I prefer like that type of city, like New York or Chicago, because I Chicago kid. So like New York, where they say it's like Chicago on steroids, but that's also very tough too. That's a grind in its own way because it's like everything's like so fast paced, and then like logistics for filming is tough. So it's like, how are you going to bring your whole like car full of camera lights and all that stuff when like nobody really has a car in LA? So then you're like either bringing it on a train or you're like taking an Uber Black to like fill up all, like, it's just logistically tough to do things. And I'm sort of more talking from like an indie perspective. Yeah. And then it is a similar thing of like a little like snooty where they're like, well, I'm not going to work on that unless it's like, an NBC show or something. And you're like, okay, cool. Wow. But I have great friends and I've had great experiences in both LA and New York. I'm not trying to trash anything.
That's good. No, we get it.
And then Chicago is kind of a nice mix because there are sort of opportunities and things like that. And then it's a very collaborative, community. I would say that it's pretty tough for like a director writer like myself because like there's not going to be like a writing room or like there's not like jobs that I would necessarily want to get. I either have to like make my own indie feature film and it like wins an award. And then people are like, I want to work with you. And I'm like, okay, cool. Like, I'm not going to move back to LA or New York. I'm just going to like be here and pitch stuff. And then like, we'll film wherever the fucking tax incentive is. You know what I mean? Yeah. So that's the kind of tricky part for me where it's like, but I'm okay with that because I'm literally just like, I love Chicago. I'm happy with like making my short films. And then, like that's very fulfilling to me. And it's sort of like, it'll all just figure itself out in the end. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So
yeah. That's cool though. I like hearing about the different cities that you've kind of filmed in, and like, I can't even imagine New York. Cause like when I think of New York, like one of the things that come to my mind is like Ghostbusters. Like,
yeah,
I remember hearing all the the stuff that they did. They actually had actual cameras out when they were walking across the street, and there's actual interactions with real people. And it's like,
yeah.
Whoa, that's crazy.
Yeah. And then like smaller towns, it's so much easier to like people are just very friendly about things. That's the other thing. And it's like you don't need to be anywhere, to like whatever, make it or anything like that. It's like, for me, it's not about that. For me, it's just like, I am passionate about filmmaking. So for me, wherever I am, like, that's where I'm going to do it. And to me, it's almost like, I'd rather see those like slice of life Americana things instead of like, I live in the city or, or whatever. It's like, I can't, I mean, like some people relate to that, whatever. But my whole point is like you can make art, whatever films anywhere. That's the thing. You can do it with an iPhone. You can do it. Like there's gotta be a cool place in, you pronounce it Goshen?
Goshen. Yep.
Ooh, okay. Yeah. Like, I mean, it looks like such a beautiful, I looked at, where the theater is for the Riverbend Film Festival. I'm like, man, this like main little drag here looks so beautiful. So I'm sure there's a supportive community there that you could film the shit out of stuff there. You know what I mean?
100%. Goshen is basically an art community. South Bend and Goshen are both big art communities. And like, honestly, I can already count on my fingers the amount of people that would, if we ever actually did the vampire thing, that would help us. That they would literally be like, yeah,
it needs to not be
do this.
It needs to be.
It will be.
It needs to be a when.
When you do it.
Yes.
I told you how to storyboard. Okay.
I know. I'm an idea man.
No excuses.
Yeah. So like I can't help you on the writing, but you can write and then pitch stuff. Mm-hmm. Like I already told you my cool scene that I thought of.
Oh,
Remember when I was driving? Yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We'll have to figure it out, man.
But the one thing that's kind of cool, because we are a horror podcast, you have a couple of horror shorts, but talking about like city and all that sort of stuff. I mean, the logistics of shooting a horror movie in a city just would be, kind of crazy. Like I'm thinking, of course, Jason Takes Manhattan. I love that movie. But
oh my God, so good.
Shooting in like a rural small town is like, that's like horror movie gold. Like that's like every horror movie. So, that aspect of the small town would lend itself a lot easier to like a horror movie or like an Americana, like romance, the small town girl meets big shot boy or whatever that dynamic may be. But those would be kind of really easy for those types of films to shoot, so you got to kind of roll with the punches. So what I'm saying is if like where I live, I would not try to shoot like something that's fast paced because it would be just too hard. So then it'd be like, all right, well, we can do like a horror, we can do like a romance, slow down type film or something like that. So, I mean, you really kind of have to roll with what you've got. I mean, vampires in the corn and different
let's go.
Could be pretty easy. So
the working title, I don't have the finished title for it, but it's basically lesbian vampires.
Love
but
it.
They're from outer space. There is a song called
Jason from Space. Yeah.
But like it is based off of a goth song. That's where the idea came from. But it's like, I want this to be a thing. Like it's Lost Boys meets and it goes into a whole different direction.
Yeah.
They're aliens. Yeah. That's all you need to know.
That's great. Yeah.
So we'll make it happen.
Gotta make it happen.
You're gonna make it happen.
Yeah, we absolutely have to.
So we're at 9, and then we get into all the fun stuff. This has all been fun, but we got some more kind of
Okay. Is there anything from your heritage that makes its way into your films, albeit big or small?
Yeah, so I feel like again getting picked on for being a chubby boy, but then overseas, I guess, like outside of the US, like oddly, well, not oddly, action movies, broad comedy, and horror is very big.
Okay.
Probably because like we have it good here in the United States. Well, for now, I mean, it's like we all grew up pretty comfortable. But like I hear all these horror stories from all my like European family where it's like they had this civil war and people are killing each other. And I'm like, wait, what? That was in the 90s? Like what?
Yeah, right.
So that's why I feel like action movies sell well overseas because like a lot of people just grow up in turmoil. And then broad comedy, people want to laugh. Mm-hmm. And then horror just because like horror is fun, you know? So I was sort of like inundated with that. I was watching R-rated movies when I shouldn't have been watching it. You know what I mean? But my parents were just like, whatever, you know? A little more, I think, like liberal with like nudity and gore and like action and like scary stuff. I mean, like my mom, her favorite movie was like Halloween. You know what I mean? So I remember like being way too young watching Halloween with my mom and my sister and I were scared shitless. My mom was like, is this movie good? You know, I'm just like, but it's like, you know what I mean? It's like, whatever, just like, who cares, you know? And then I feel like for a lot of those movies in sort of like late 80s, 90s, they were very character driven. Mm-hmm. So I feel like underdog at times, like with the horror, you know, or like action movies, it's like all is lost, or like, you know, this woman has to survive, you know, like Jason or Mrs. Voorhees or whatever, you know, or Michael Myers, right? So it's like, so you really care about the characters from a simple level of like, there is an unstoppable force coming after this person. Like, I hope she makes it, you know, or I hope this guy avenges his family that got killed by the bad guys, you know? So, so I feel like since I was sort of indoctrinated with that, that's probably where like my sort of mix of all that comes, like character driven films where we try to care about them and then with a little twist and a little, you know, action, comedy and horror in there, you know?
Yeah. So, and you kind of have a lot of final girls in your films. I've noticed.
Okay.
The 3 that I've seen, there's some final girl action going on.
There is,
yeah. So
I guess I never thought about that, but all right, cool.
So I was like, damn, you like create like these like really like a strong female characters, and it's like That's cool. You don't see that very often, you know.
Which our friends, the Final Girl podcast. They would love that. Yes, we have some friends that's what they do. They review films that are Final Girls and stuff. So
yeah,
nice.
Little plug for them.
Yeah.
Let's go.
But do you have a favorite horror film? What's one that you keep going back to?
Oh man,
like your comfort horror film.
Yeah. This is a kind of a silly one, but I just love, I mean, I guess it was called Dead Alive, but Brain Dead by Peter Jackson.
Oh my God. The best, man.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like that one's also cool just because like also, you know, like how cool is it that he got a grant from the government? Like they're very pro filmmaking and like that sort of like was, I don't know if it was like Peter Jackson's first film or.
So I'm pretty sure it was. I am pretty sure it was. I'll look it up.
Peter Jackson's first film probably would have been Bad Taste. That was one he started.
Oh, maybe.
With the aliens.
But
he's got doing the piece?
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Let's see. Bad. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Because that was 87. Yes, that was 87. Okay. That's another great one. Bad Taste.
Oh my God. That film is so good.
but like for me, oh man. For me, like,
you're right.
Dead Alive, Brain Dead.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So,
hey,
I mean, like,
I kick ass for the Lord.
Yeah.
I do kick ass for the Lord.
No, so that one's very fun. And then I think like, you know, like I said, like my mom, one of the first horrors I watched with my mom was Halloween, the original.
Mm-hmm.
You know, obviously like the Friday the 13th movies are great. And then most recently, for whatever reason, like, again, one that like I keep sort of going back to is the first Conjuring. I think just because it's filmed like a classic sort of horror movie. And for whatever reason, I'm not like a big on the, like supernatural demon possession, type of horror. I'll watch it. But for me, like, it's just like, it's like it's hard for me to relate, I guess.
Sure. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Just because like I'm like, okay, like we're afraid of this thing that we can't see. Like, oh yeah, okay, cool. You know, like or only the person can see it. Like, oh, she's possessed or he's possessed. And that's just my personal taste. I think those movies serve their purpose. I see all of them in theaters because I'm a hoe and I see all the movies, you know. Because to me, like, you know, seeing a movie is like church, you know. So But I think I much prefer like the silly, like, you know, unstoppable force type things, like you know, Jason, you know, Mike Myers, that sort of thing. But yeah,
I mean, they're fun because they're not really steeped in reality. You know that there's, you know, they do horrible shit to people, but it's also like, you know, that this couldn't actually happen to people just because this person, this undead being back here can just pop up on a whim, body switch, whatever the fuck.
But I think part of it was like, you know, Friday the 13th and Halloween, it's scenery horror. So what I mean by that is like you have the babysitter, you know, watching the child and seeing things, you know, outside the window or standing beside the bush. It's that sort of thing. And then everyone, you know, when you're at camp, like is very vulnerable and it's like you know, he could hide everywhere. So it's like the scenery helps with that, you know.
Yeah, he can camouflage if you really wanted to.
Yeah, you know, but I think that's a lot to do with those. And I think that's part of what makes those movies stand out over some others. Like, you know, like Scream, for example, trying to use the most basic stuff because if you've seen
Scream's
like,
fantastic.
Yeah, Scream's fantastic, but does not use scenery like those other two movies do. Yeah. You can shoot Scream anywhere.
Yeah.
But Friday the 13th, other than Jason Takes Manhattan and some others, it's really, you know, about part of it. And, you know, to me, that was a big difference between Halloween and like Rob Zombie's Halloween, because Rob Zombie's Halloween didn't have that element, in my opinion, like the first ones did. It was more sheer terror because Michael Myers had been established and his aura had created the fear. And so Rob Zombie just played off of that. Like, I'm using him as the person to create all the fear, not is he going to come through this door or this window or something like that. So, I mean, that's my little take on it.
No, I love it. Yeah.
Well, I think we've come to one of our final questions, but
Ooh.
tell us about your future projects coming up. I know you had the post-apocalyptic one that you're working on that should be released soon. But
that's called the Bridge. I think we're gonna drop like a little like I don't know 30-second teaser on that one. Ooh. And then we'll release.
Let us know.
Yeah.
We'll throw it on our Instagram or we'll run it on our YouTube or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. I appreciate it. Yeah. I'll let you know about that. Yeah. That should be in the next couple weeks or so. And then, well, basically we're just going to try to like drop like a thing on a Tuesday and be like, hey, coming next Tuesday, the movie. And again, that was one just of like people getting together to just wanting to work on something. Another one's always working. That one's finished in post. That's another one of just I wanted to do a Mr. and Mrs. Smith type silly couple that like gets in a fight. You know what I mean? Like that sort of thing. Yeah. And then something that I'd either do like at the end of the year or maybe beginning of next year is something I wrote called Another Way. That's basically about a sort of like mob enforcer who's like trained to use violence, for the mob, but then he wants to get out because sort of like he can't separate his work from his personal life, and he's settling down with his partner, and his partner's like, you had night terrors again. You know what I mean? So he's like afraid that he's going to like accidentally injure his like partner, like not knowing, because he's like sleep fighting and doing things like that. So that one, I kind of just want to like use sort of like, I guess I want to challenge myself for that film because I'm very happy about the script, and it's only like 3 characters, and I just want to like really push myself, because a lot of these shorts that I do, they're done in like 6 or 8 hours. And there's like maybe 3 crew members, and it's like, that's why I have like minimal characters, because it's like, for me, I can literally just like use my like lav mics, because there's 2 of them that go into the 2 XLR ports in the camera, and we just like literally put a boom on like a C-stand, you know what I mean? So that's why like I try to do like simpler things, work on the characters, and then literally I'm like, hey guy, all the actors, like it's going to be 1 day of shooting, because it's so, I mean, like people will work, like you can ask people for favors, but I found it's very easy to ask someone like, can you just like give me a whole Saturday? Like, this is what we're doing. You know what I mean? So, so this one, like I would maybe want to do like maybe a 3-day shoot, just to like really try to like, cause like I said, you're always under the gun. All my films are usually like 1 day ish, maybe like an hour or 2 of pickup of something else. And then like, that's it. Very run and gun, but like this last one that I talked about, it's not, it's the script is Another Way. It's done. I just want to challenge myself to be like, okay, this might actually be a 3-day shoot. Like, maybe ask out the big dog favors of get like a professional sound person, like things like that, to try to just like really, get all the shots that I want, because you never get everything that you want, because you just run out of time and things happen on set, and it's just like unforeseen things. So that would be like one where I'm like, ooh, let me try to just like push myself a little bit,
That's awesome. Well, shoot. Man, how do we like close this out? Because like we want people to discover you.
Yeah. So So let us know where you people can find you, all that sort of stuff. What's going to be easiest for our listeners to kind of check you out and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah, my website has everything. Filmingbusinesscompany.com. It's a ridiculous website.
I love that. That's so cool.
Again, it's a play on my goofy father with his thick accent. So yeah, that basically has like all of kind of like a conglomerate of like all my shorts and stuff. Because it's like, it's hard with YouTube and all that, because there's just like so many channels and like I was kind of sloppy about like, oh, put all my films on this thing, because it is kind of tough too. Like when you're working in the indie zone of like, it's credits are tricky sometimes, and then like where you post it is very tricky at times, because Like, it's just very important to have these conversations of like, hey, like, you're working on this film. Like, what do you want from this film? Like, what credits? You know what I mean? Okay, cool. You want this credit and this and this and that and that. And then I get this, it's like have the divorce before the marriage, because like there's so many things of like, oh, hey, well, like I said this thing and like I didn't get this credit, or like I thought it was going to be released, so it's just like, it's hard to navigate at times. That's why like, and that's again, like you just kind of learn and whatever. But so I've been sort of sloppy with like, it's just kind of all over the place. But the good thing is like, you can just take the link, from wherever the website or wherever YouTube it's on, and then just like embed it in your website. So essentially like all of the stuff that I've worked on is on my silly, goofy website. So there you go.
That's cool. Awesome.
Sweet.
And then what is your YouTube that they can see a lot of your stuff at?
Oh gosh. I think it's just, I think that's the problem. Like, I'm bad. Like I said, I think isn't
it linked on your, maybe you gave us the link. I'm not sure. That's all right. I maybe it was a link you gave us.
I think, it was on a link that you gave us. So we'll just have Luke plug those links in.
I would say best way to see everything is filmingbusinesscompany.com.
That's what we'll do.
Because like I said, like, I think I released some stuff on Filming Business YouTube, but then also Zo Zosak YouTube. And then like another, sometimes too, like, if there's like, where do we post this thing? If there's like a lot of people involved, or people sort of put in some money, then if we can't decide where to put it on, I'm like, okay, we'll just make a YouTube account for that film. So that's like another thing of like, there's a lot of one-offs where like, there's a lot of people sort of involved, like whether they donated something or whatever. And it's just like, well, I want to put on my thing. And it's like, if we can't figure it out, then I'm like, we're just going to make like, Blood in the Cornfields, YouTube, and it's only gonna be one video. You know what I mean? Because it's like for that project, we sort of didn't figure out where it was going to be, and then people thought one thing. So like it's tough. It's again, it's a terrible answer. I'm sorry, but
but that's fine. That makes sense. And
you just got to keep the peace too, sometimes.
We'll leave links and all that sort of stuff. So,
Luke's pretty good at that.
Businesscompany.com.
Yes. Sweet. Well, we really appreciate you coming on. And I would say we're going to sign off, but stay with us after we sign off. We'll chat a little bit afterwards. But
thank you.
We really do appreciate it.
Yes.
We are excited to be involved with your stuff. Yeah, like seeing it there at the Riverbend. That's going to be
fun.
That's going to be really cool. So cool. I'm totally looking forward to that.
Especially to hear everybody's reactions to it. That's always the best.
Thank you for having me so much. I really appreciate it.
Yes. Yeah. Awesome. Sweet. Well, we appreciate you coming. So with that being said, look out for each other and good night, cellar dwellers.